Today is going to be a high of 89, so it feels a little frigid compared to the high heat we were getting. Welcome back to the farm. As you can see, I got my new stainless steel hose in. This is supposed to be indestructible. You can also see the pumpkins here are doing extremely well. Look at this guy. And you can see it's getting ready to start making some pumpkins. But when I said earlier in previous videos that these pumpkins could be a nuisance, you can already see how they're wanting to sprawl out. You can see how this, I believe that's a Cadwin, is starting to go into the luminaire there. You see how that luminaire in the corner is starting to want to vine into the strawberry patch. This is a real good example. Here's one of its vines. You have a second one going out towards that tomato plant. Seeing if I'm at a bad angle, and you see this vine starting to go down that way into the peppers. And there's that pumpkin that the vine, I was trying to flip the vine around and I damaged the veins to the plant, so I don't know what that one will do right now. It happens. You see the basil's looking nice. You see the lettuce did very well. The onions didn't sprout. That's okay. That happens from time to time. Here are the goat fences. You may be able to see them up in that tree up there. Have to be careful with these flowers because they're producing pollen. But you see how the alfalfa and kale aren't doing so great. That's okay. I took a risk. Sometimes this happens. Now, these plants are very leggy, but they're completely salvageable. The kale's okay over here. You see that not all the cauliflower looks as bad. And also, you can see something's been mutzing on them. That also happens. Sometimes gardeners will plant excess of one of a plant that's known to attract pests in a different part of the yard to redirect the pest after those plants instead of inside the main garden. So we call it a trap crop. Now, am I worried about those plants? No. Why I'm not worried about those plants? It's because I have others that I can replace it with. However, with the purple broccoli, that needs to be overwintered. And the bees are out and about. I actually did manage to get inside the hive briefly before they stung me multiple times. It happens as a beekeeper. But they look very good right now. I do need to do a deep dive, so hopefully I can do that this week since it's getting a little cooler. And the peas, it's way over here. You kind of can see them coming up. Busy bees. Didn't have a whole lot of sprouting to them. That's okay. I just plant another group for secession planting, then I extend my season out. See, I already got a tray here. Is you plant some seeds in 2-week rotations, minimum. And by planting in different rotations, you extend their season out. That's what I was looking for. Alright. Now, since my lettuce did quite well, I don't need any more lettuce. But since the broccoli, kale, and cauliflower did not, I am going to replant those. But how can I keep up? With knowing what I planted versus where? This is a seed journal. Now, as you see, this is a very basic bronze one. I like to have a physical record. Some people will actually take it a step higher and do a cell and make an Excel sheet. Others will actually download an garden planning app, which is a paid service. Because I've never seen the point in having a paid service do something for me when I could, do it myself. And this is just a bare bones. For example, I wrote down how long it takes to germinate, what's its ideal temperature range, how much light it needs, when I planted it, when it sprouted, how much harvest can I get in the day I harvest. Now, sometimes they would tell you how long it takes to harvest. Oh, and yes. With some of the stuff, it would tell you it's frost hardy. That means it can withstand frost. So here's a good example. This iceberg that I planted. If I planted this iceberg, it takes 70 to 80 days to harvest. That means from the time I plant it to the time I harvest, it's going to be between 70 to 80 days. So now I just go through here. Assuming I lost my track. Something else you can do is, you see I have some grafting paper here. It looks doesn't have to look pretty. But I haven't finalized what I'm going to do. But this lets me know, hey, now I know for a fact the pumpkins are going to take over the main garden. So this is just going to be pumpkins. This will be my other stuff. It doesn't have to be pretty. This has, as long as you know what you're doing. So now we're just going to replant some of these. And this one says overwintering broccoli. This basically means you can leave it for the winter, so I'm going to take a chance again and replant some of these. This time I'm not going to plant as many. I'm just going to do one at a time. And this right here is just peat moss because I had nothing else. But I've already let this soak overnight. As you see, I'm just doing one seed. And since I had legginess last time, what I'm going to do is, way I can combat that is by leaving this soil level lower, excuse me. You gotta love the wind. I just lost a seed. Found it. You see I'm just doing one at a time right now. Since I got some esters, I'm just going to remember what I said last time about writing your stuff down? Some people like to write all the information down. Today's 8/28, I believe. Okay. To kind of see how we had a wind issue. We're just going to do that. There. Now we're going to do the wall home. $59. As I drop the seed. Introduced in 1954. Normally I would plant 2, but I'm going to take a risk here. As you can tell with the soil, you see how it's easily slunk. This is very lightweight, so it's a perfect seed starter. And it also will allow me to add more soil if these plants get leggy again. And don't be worried about making a mess. And it's like last time I just put in here, we're done. Okay. Now for the Mesco Italia. Italian heirloom. Apple green heads. Also, some of the seeds you see a little more, you might consider exotic because I tend to lean that way. But, as they taught me in nutrition class, eat the rainbow. So, Italia. Now if these are frost hardy, you don't have to worry about covering them up. If it does have a frost event and they're not frost hardy, yeah, you're gonna have to protect them. There's ways to do that. You have to be careful about. You have different methods for different reasons. You see how that. Some people like to do this method. At this point, it's okay to have. Nice paddle, man. I typically don't cover them up. And just like that. Now for the caliper again. Oh, silly. As I have Butterfingers. The Zone 7, Wind Sentry. Wind Sentry. When I say Sentry, I mean Central. Part of the reason why I'm planting these a little heavier is because it's the only one I have. So I'm trying to ensure that I have a higher germination rate. Also, I appreciate the number of views I've gotten over the previous month. Yeah, that's okay. I'm not going to try to nitpick about being super picky right now. And you see any more seeds? More seeds. I was saying, so I mean that you're interested in having food security, and to be perfectly honest, sorry, I'm getting a little distracted. A dead fly in there. Nature is nature. Okay. What I will do is do the kill next. Again, writing doesn't have to be precise as long as you know how to read it. See, I'm just spreading this around. You could use the tool that I had earlier, which makes it more precision based. With this, precision doesn't really need to be needed. There's a lot more seeds in this than the other ones, so I'm getting a little lazy here. Again, trying to increase my germination rate. Part of the reason why I push this down, it also lets me know where I've been. And just like that, we're done here. Grab the other tray for the peas. Like I said, Wind Sentry. And that wind has become an enemy of mine over the many years. Little pea. or veil. And the reason why this is called little, because it only grows to be 2 feet high, so it doesn't need to have a trellis. Just stick in there, like so. Just push down on them. This is a little harder, because I had let these dried out. I also have plenty of these peas, so I'm more willing to plant more of these than I would normally. And what I'll do is add water to the bottom and let the water let the seeds absorb the water from the bottom. Two, 4, 8. So I have to jury rig this a bit. Which theoretically any plant, as long as you don't cause too much damage, will grow. Just like you walk and let me rephrase that analogy. You walk and you twist your ankle, you can still walk. It is just a little sluggish. Same way for plant. These I'm not planting too far down. That will speed up their germination rate. Okay. With that, we are done. I just have to do some watering. I find these to be a little harder to, for example, put the tray in, so I'll use this on the other side. So if I need to water is that one right there. Don't need too much. And I just water like so. Personally, there's a slight lean here. So what I can do is just switch this around. And you see how the floating, the peat moss is dry. Once this absorbs, that'll take care of that problem. Since I know this is a little dry, because this entire styrofoam will float. So what I might do is this, pour it in like so. You can also do top, but I don't want to push too much of the seeds out of place. This is the other way you can water. You see how it's messy? So I haven't found a good way to water this per se. Except for to go slow, which I don't like going slow. You gotta figure out how to get in here. Oh well, no good way. Maybe that way. There we go. Plus, since I'm my feeding station here, the bees can come in and get the water they need off the trays. I don't have to worry about them drowning.